This is the Montana Outdoor Podcast, brought to you in part by Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer in Missoula, home of Boss Snowplows, CEM Truck Beds, and Diamond Sea Trailers. Just go to rmtte.com for more information. And by Superior Hardwoods of Montana, home of the largest selection of in-stock high-end wood products and flooring in the western United States. Let them guide you through the woods at superior-hardwoods.com. Now, get ready for more fascinating topics and the most interesting people you will ever find in Montana's great outdoors. We offer new podcasts most every Saturday. You can get a link to these podcasts by going to our website, montanooutdoor.com, or by going to our Facebook page, or just send an email to Downrigger at montanooutdoor.com and say send a link to my email. It's that simple. Now let's head out with your host, Downrigger Dale, and see what's going on in Montana's great outdoors.
Thank you very much, Manny. I appreciate that introduction, as you do every week for me. And I am, as Manny said, Downrigger Dale. And today we have got an interesting podcast. Of course, I think every podcast we do every week is interesting, of course. But I really have wanted to talk to these folks. One, the organization that we're going to talk about today is One Montana. And they have several programs, and we're going to talk to Sarah Tilt about the whole program and what One Montana is. But then we're also going to talk specifically about one of their programs. You've probably heard us mention it from a press release we got from the Fish, Wildlife, and Parks about the Master Hunter program. And this one really intrigued me, and I think it's going to be something that a lot of you listening are going to be interested in. Now, as always, there's a podcast description, so all of you listening, you probably noticed that. Take a look at that after you listen to this podcast, and I'm going to have some links in that podcast description, so you'll be able to click on to get more information about One Montana and also more information about the Master Hunter program and all that. So don't worry about trying to find a pen and paper to write down contact information or any of that, because it'll all be in your podcast description. So let me introduce Sarah. Sarah, thank you so much for coming on board. Now, you are, what's your official title at One Montana?
Well, first, let me say thank you for having me down in Riverdale.
Yeah.
I'm really honored to be here. My title is Executive Director of One Montana.
Great. Now, One Montana, how long has this organization been around?
It's been around since 2004.
Okay.
But the Master Hunter program started in 2018, which is really what put us on the map.
Yeah, that's an exciting program. Well, I'm really intrigued about all your programs. Let's just start with One Montana first. Tell us a bit about the organization, how it got started, and you know, kind of what your main mission is.
Well, our mission is to sustain a vibrant Montana by connecting our urban and rural communities. And we were started in 2004 by a wonderful man named Bill Bryan, who's been in Montana for many years and been involved in a variety of different nonprofits and businesses, including a small travel company that he ran for years called Off the Beaten Path. And, you know, One Montana's been involved in a number of different things. What we're very good at is bringing the right people together to have conversations and bringing diverse perspectives together to try and solve some of our challenges across the state. You know, most of our programs are educational, and we build relationships across these cultural divides. So, you know, our two primary programs are the Master Hunter program, and the other is called Outside Kind. And through those, we're curating conversations and providing opportunities for hunters and landowners to come together to benefit wildlife and promote private land stewardship. And we're also helping people to understand our collective responsibility to be good stewards for all the resources we all enjoy. And, you know, these efforts contribute to building, to bridging gaps and fostering cooperation. And that's sort of essential for addressing the complex challenges around the state.
Well, that this is probably a topic that I would say is probably our most discussed topic, and that is hunter and landowner relations and access. We think of Montana as this huge state, but access is vital to all of us that want to enjoy everything Montana has to offer. When you think of Montana, really the outdoors is our biggest asset, really. We are second only to Hawaii as far as the biggest part of Montana's GDP being associated with the outdoors. So it's a very important topic, especially when we get into how hunters and landowners get along. Because the more we do, the better we are in really enjoying everything that it has to offer. So, if I'm understanding this right, your organization kind of tries to bridge that gap and pull the hunters and landowners together and find out what they have in common and discuss what their differences might be. Am I correct there?
Yeah, exactly. And I'll say, one other thing, because I think the access and hunter landowner relations is critical. And it's not just with hunting. The state has grown so much that we're starting to see, and more people are moving here, but everybody moves here for most of the same reasons. They all want to revel in our open spaces, be out in the landscape, seeing animals, hiking, mountain biking, skiing. I mean, our recreation is really important. And that's part of the conversation with access and landowner-hunter relations. You can't separate it, because there's as more and more people are in our outdoor spaces, there's the potential for more and more conflict. It also moves animals around in different ways, so that many of our wildlife are moving more onto private land. So how does that piece come into the conversation around access? So with the Montana Master Hunter Program we brought together, in 2010, we brought together outfitters, landowners, nonprofits, Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, and other agencies to really have this discussion about what are the challenges that we're facing around wildlife management and all of these different pieces that come to play within that. And we first had discussions really about access, and then about block management, and then into a variety of other things. And what consistently emerged was ethical behavior. And kind of the reason that landowners, well, let me back up. I would say almost every most landowners provide access of some kind for hunting. But it might be limited. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we looked at is creating a program that was landowner driven to educate a more ethical and effective hunter. And when I say effective, better shooting efficiency. And the program has evolved since then. And
mm-hmm. Yeah, you're touching on so many important issues that we hear so often, and some of it is not easy to figure out. I kind of have an interesting perspective in that I grew up on a cattle ranch in western Montana. And my dad, when he first was in ranching, he really felt it was important to, share the land. And we had quite a bit of land. We ran almost 2,000 head of cattle, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. Excuse me. And he was really open to allowing hunters onto the land and all that. as I got, say, closer to my teen years, he had gone all the way to the other side of it and had said, nope, no more hunting on our ranch at all. He just got tired of fences being cut, gates being left open, people going on areas that he asked not to, or just people showing up and you go, who the heck is out there? And so it was really unfortunate because now I'm going to school and in high school, and boy, I would get it all the time. How come your old man doesn't allow us to hunt on that land? And it was really tough because I was kind of caught in the middle. I totally understood his side in that. We finally reached a happy medium, which was, okay, anybody that, works on the irrigation crew, yeah, you can hunt here. If you're helping with the haying and all that, you can. So that's kind of how it came to be. And I had done a podcast here recently with Aaron Berg, who's a sergeant game warden with the FWP. And he talked about this too, that tends to be one of the big calls that the game wardens get is trespass issues and that. So what are some of the main things that you have seen with One Montana and dealing with hunter and landowner relations, as well as just hikers and that? And what are some of the main victories you've had as far as getting people to communicate better? Mm-hmm. And what are some of the things you're still trying to work on?
Well, the Master Hunter program was really created to try and address this landowner-hunter relations, as I mentioned before. And our program is akin to going through a graduate class. It's very intensive. It is, and it's not for everybody. It is for lifelong learners who really want to improve their skills, and they want to learn about the challenges that landowners face. I mean, the reality is I would say the crux of the problem is often a lack of understanding by hunters as to what landowners deal with on a daily basis, whether it's living with wildlife, and as I mentioned before, as more and more of us are in the outdoor spaces, the more and more of our wildlife are going to seek refuge and safety on private land. So it creates this sort of animosity there. And what we're trying to do in our program is really help hunters to understand that landowners are our best stewards out there. They're trying to do the right thing for wildlife. They don't always want more wildlife. They actually, in many cases, want hunting to help. So what we do, our program goes through, it's basically 2 consecutive 3-day weekends and then a qualifying weekend that happens a little bit later, where you take a final exam and you qualify with your shooting, tracking and trailing, and land navigation. So it's pretty intense, but they go through probably 17 different subjects, everything. We have game wardens who come in, as you mentioned. I'm not sure we've had Aaron in, but other game wardens that are part of the program that talk about wildlife law. We have the history of conservation in the United States. So it's really a very intensive program, and people can go, there's a list of all of these classes on our website. But I think, and then we have probably the most impactful class that we do is an 8-hour landowner panel day.
Wow.
So we bring in landowners to talk to the class, answer questions, and really discuss these challenging issues. And every property is a little different. So we try to have a variety of different landowners that represent different pieces of this conversation. And that's probably one of the most impactful classes that we offer.
Okay. So we'll do a little role play here. Let's say I'm a listener to the Montana Outdoor Podcast. I'm an avid elk hunter, and I hear this. Why would I guess first explain to me in a nutshell what's the Master Hunter program is, and why would I benefit from getting involved in that program and taking these courses?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. I mean, the program is designed to help the state of Montana with wildlife management by improving the relationship between hunters and landowners, and hopefully increasing access to private lands so our hunters are ethical. Landowners can expect that our hunters will do what they're told. They'll follow the rules. They'll close the gates. If they'll wash their trucks, the undercarriage of their trucks, whatever is needed. We have several landowners that we work with who actually are managing their properties for age class. So our hunters are expected to only take those animals. Or we also have a landowner who has us pinpoint weeds, so that they can then share that with FWP and deal with weed management. We work with, so there's, we do a number of different things with landowners. And one is we have about 25 landowners who actually provide access for hunting through the program. It's free access. It's usually sometimes it's a lottery system. Some of our landowner partners will allow a specific number of hunters. So we run a different number of ways for those to access. We have some landowners that have unlimited access. But we also, I think one of the key things that we do to improve relations is our master hunters. You asked what did they get out of this? They become part of a community. We have 370 graduates at this point, and they're part of a community. They want to learn from each other. They're there to hunt together. They attend continuing education classes together. They are ambassadors for private lands. So there's that whole conversation. So one of the things we did during COVID is we talked to our landowner partners and said, how can we help you? What do you need? Because a lot of them were not getting the consistent help that they needed. And we started running volunteer service projects. So that's been an amazing opportunity for landowners, for our master hunter graduates to go and work with landowners on their properties side by side and have these incredible conversations.
That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 2022, we did 23 projects. I think 88 master hunters contributed over 650 hours, volunteer hours on those projects. This year, we've done 20 projects, and I think it's been over 425 hours. So it's a lot of opportunity to be in that space with landowners. The other thing I would say is this year we did a little bit of a survey, and about 9% of our new students coming into the class were hunter education instructors. Coming out of the class, over 85% said they wanted to be hunter education instructors or mentors as a result of taking the class.
That is great. Well, I want to take a quick break here and chat a bit about one of our great sponsors that, of course, we wouldn't be able to do this podcast without them. But when we come back, I want you to answer this question when we come back, and that is, are you saying if I get in the Master Hunter program, my odds of gaining more access to private land might indeed increase? And then we'll talk about some of these projects that the Master Hunters have done in the past, and then we'll get into actually talking about how we get involved in the program. So we'll do that right after this. It just seems like yesterday we were sitting in the heat going, "Ooh, this is a hot summer. What are we going to do?" And we were worried about forest fires and all that. But now, all of a sudden, you feel that little tinge in the air, the crispness, and And it won't be long, folks. The snow is going to fly. This is the time. If you've ever thought about getting a snowplow so you can get that driveway of yours plowed, or let's say you own a business. A lot of you need to plow that out. You can save a ton of money plowing it yourself. And I kind of think it's fun. I enjoy doing it. But the reason I'm talking about all this is Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer is your Boss snowplow dealer. And Boss snowplows, I think, has just now taken it to a whole another level. They are the snowplow that you want to have. They can do so many different things. And the great thing about Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer is they have a full service department. They can install it. They can take you through it, show you how to operate your Boss snowplow. They can help you get financing. They have the parts. They have everything. This isn't something where, you get a snowplow and then you have problems with it or whatever, and the people that sold it to you, that's all they do is sell it. They don't know anything. Not with Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. They not only do they carry the best snowplowers you can get, Boss snowplows, but they do everything from helping you pick the right one all the way through to the service after sale and all that. So get a hold of my friends at Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. Now, you can go see them in person in Missoula, Montana, 5680 Expressway in Missoula. Also, you can, of course, give them a call. They'd love to talk to you there. Their phone number, 406-549-4243. Or one of my favorite ways to take a look at everything they have is just go online, rmtte.com, rmtte.com, Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. Be ready for winter this year with a Boss snowplow and check out all their inventory and everything else. You're going to like dealing with these folks. Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer. And we are back here on the Montana Outdoor Podcast. Sarah Tilt is my guest. She's with One Montana. We are talking right now about the Master Hunter program. Boy, I'm learning a lot here, and this is fascinating. God rest his soul, my dad would have been just absolutely loved this. He would have absolutely loved this idea, and it sounds great. So, Sarah, if I'm get involved as a master hunter, are you saying that would certainly help me gain contacts and possibly get more access to private lands that I may not get otherwise?
In short, yes. But
Okay.
what I would say is we don't describe the Master Hunter program as an access program. We have about 25 landowners that are formal partners in the program and offer some kind of hunting to our graduates. But as we get more and more graduates, and we're growing those partner relationships, so there will always be growing access opportunities, but not everybody's going to get access. And yet what we're also providing are the skills for hunters who come through our programs to have conversations with landowners that they meet and the ability to approach them themselves so that they can create and build those relationships where they can obtain access. The other thing I would say is for the other 20 or 30 partners that we have that we are doing volunteer service projects on, those landowners often invite the people that do the service projects to come back and hunt on their properties. So there's a direct correlation to that. So I say there's a lot of access we are providing, but we don't describe ourselves as an access program.
Got it. But you're certainly training folks to get, like you say, those skills. Now, let me kind of rephrase that question even more. If I got involved in the Master Hunter program, or anyone decided, okay, I want to pursue this, what's expected of a Master Hunter? Obviously, it sounds like there's some things that are expected of those that do get in the program and end up graduating. So what's expected of them to contribute to this program?
Well, the first thing is the application period is open right now. It's open from October 1st to the end of November. And it's you apply through, we do have an application on our website. It does examine some critical thinking, and it is a competitive application process. So not everybody will get in. But that's the first step. Then participants need to be prepared to come to 2 consecutive 3-day weekends and then attend a 2-day rendezvous weekend in June that is for their final qualifications. And I'll just to give you, classes will be held this year in Bozeman, I think in March, in Missoula in April, and Kalispell in May. And then all of the rendezvous weekends are in June. There's also a fair bit of, online programming that goes along with this. And so those are the initial commitments. And then to stay involved with the program long term, because we are trying to create this community of like-minded hunters who really are promoting better ethics and landowner relations. And so it's a $30 membership to maintain that, and that gives you access to all of our resources, the access to our hunting opportunities, access to different pro deals, and also continuing education. We do a number of continuing education that are skills development that go beyond the program.
Okay. Now, these courses in Bozeman, I'm just looking at the website here, Bozeman, March 15th through the 17th, then March 22nd through the 24th, Missoula, April 12th through 14th, and April 19th through the 21st, and then Kalispell, May 3rd through the 5th, and May 17th through the 19th. This is all, of course, next year. Is everyone that is accepted in the program, are they required to go to all 3 of those, or do they just pick one of those?
No,
cities?
they're just picking one location.
Okay, gotcha.
So
yeah. If somebody got involved, said, okay, I picked Bozeman, then they're going to be expected to show up for the 15th through the 17th, and then March 22nd through the 24th. And then the final, you're talking about the final qualifications rendezvous. If you're involved in the Bozeman one, that's the June 7th through the 9th. And those of you listening, I'm going to have a link to all this, so don't be trying to write it all down. Don't worry. You're going to have access to take a look at all that. So, okay, that's the main thing. What are some of the things I'm learning in that course? One, no matter which city I pick, are the courses the same then?
Yes, the course is the same.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, there are, I think it's about 17 different subjects. We start with the history of conservation in the United States. We do wildlife law, wildlife disease. We have a public lands panel, which will include sort of the various agencies from Forest Service, BLM, Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And then we have tracking and trailing, land navigation. I mean, it really is sort of everything you need to improve your skills and be an effective hunter. I think I didn't mention the shooting. That's probably, we do a very, it's a very intensive field shooting program that will increase your efficiency as a hunter. I think we've got 2 of the best instructors in the state, and you do half a day that's in class, and then you do a full day of shooting instruction within those 6 days of class.
Wow. So this is real valuable information for a hunter then as well. Wow. Okay. So what are the qualifications that a person needs to meet to even have a shot at getting, accepted into the program?
Well, right now we're still only open to adults. We're looking at how to create this on a youth basis, but so over 21, and we like to have 3 years of hunting in Montana as part of the experience because Montana has different regulations than other states, and just having some base knowledge of that is good. We have, and we need to be a Montana resident.
Okay.
We haven't opened this up for out of state yet, although that's been also a discussion. I think the thing I would say is there are many people who hunted Montana as kids or young adults and then moved away and have moved back. So we do encourage them to apply, even if they've only been back in Montana for a year, because they have that experience. So,
Okay.
So it's not just strict that you have to have only 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make the case that, if you've hunted all your life, and live here.
And then what kind of a hunter? Is it open to bird hunters and big game, or what do you see there?
It's open to everyone. We focus on big game in the initial course because that's really the place where we've seen the most conflict between landowners and
Sure.
hunters, and where the challenges are with game management.
Mm-hmm.
But our continuing educations focus on bow hunting, bird hunting. We do a number of different things, but it's an opportunity for everyone. We will the qualifications, the shooting qualifications in the program are rifle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you think about it, if you hunt in Montana, especially if you've been hunting for 3 years, you probably do a lot of different types of hunting.
Yes,
but in the shooting side, obviously you're going to be focusing on rifle, but this is open to bow hunters as well as rifle hunters in that as well. Okay.
And it helps you get really good instruction. I mean, what I would say about our shooting program, the cost of the program
Mm-hmm.
is, when you think of what we're offering, very, very little for the value the students are getting. They're getting about over $3,000 of value for each person. And that includes shooting instruction alone would cost what we're charging for the class.
And how much do you charge for the class?
$675.
Really? That's all?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, then, so I could see where, you definitely want to have people apply, and not everybody's going to get in for that reason alone. I would think that's a heck of a deal. So what are some of the main things that you look for? Of course, like you said, you want them to be over 21. They need to be a resident. They've been hunting for 3 years. Are there certain things that you guys are really looking for?
Critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I think the ability to, there aren't right answers on the application. It's really, we do ask them about their experience with landowners. We ask them about their, we give them a scenario where we want to learn a little bit about how they would address things. But it really is, what we're looking for is a real desire to learn, and critical thinking, and a real interest in landowner relations. I think those are really the three, is really understanding that, and knowing that, yes, some access is part of this, but that those are more important.
Sure. Okay.
And maybe you're looking for a community and people to hunt with. That's also a big part of why people take this class.
Yeah.
I do want to mention that we also do have scholarships available.
Okay.
So we try to allow everybody the opportunity.
So that would be something that if someone, is very qualified, and you say that this is a great person, but they just can't afford that 675, then it is possible that you might be able to help them with that.
We have a wonderful relationship with Mystery Ranch, and they fund our scholarship program.
Mm-hmm. Are there red flags that you look for that you say, no, that's definitely going to exclude some?
Not definitively. We
Okay.
do ask people about whether they've received citations in the past and to explain them. Um, so I think, those can be a strike against you, but often we're really just trying to understand and wanting to know that that person wants to learn and do better.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And ultimately, how many hunters get into this program?
We try to take 100 every year, and there's always some attrition with people who accept and then are unable to come. But we try to have 100 people in the class every year, it's roughly 30 to 35 per class.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say is the percentage as far as hunting, of course, for a long time was a very male-dominated sport, but not so much anymore. What do you see there as far as and I'm asking selfishly because I'm a father of 8 daughters. So what do you see there as far as the percentage of people that get into the course?
No, I'm really glad you asked, because I think we're really trying to encourage more and more women, and we're seeing more and more women as adult onset hunters. And I think we're about 20% women at this point.
Well,
I want to continue to see that increase. That is a big focus. I mentioned, we're never going to be sort of a women only program. There are plenty of those out there, which I think are great. But we do really want to be inclusive. And I think it's also important to mention that we try to make this class available for anybody who wants to do it. And that's really important to us.
But what I hear is the main thing you're looking for someone that is serious about the sport, that is serious about improving that relationship between landowner and hunter, and somebody that is going to take this course but then be active as a graduate down the road. That's kind of what I hear.
And that's exactly. And I think being ambassadors, so we encourage them to become hunter education instructors or participate in FWP regional committees, be mentors. I think that the R3 component of what we try to do, that recruit, retain, and reactivate, is we really focus on the retention and recruitment of the new hunters through mentorship.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the things, and I want to take one more quick break, but when we come back, I want you to share with us maybe some of the comments that you've heard from people that have gone through the program. I'd love to hear just some thoughts of what people are getting out of this. So we'll talk about that and get into some more great information about the Master Hunter program right after this. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this podcast. You folks really make the difference here for us by tuning in. But we could not do what we do at all without great sponsors like Superior Hardwoods of Montana. Now, let me kind of fill you in on what's going on there with everybody. They have so many great things. For example, they have extraordinary flooring lines. Now, a lot of their flooring is made right there. They have this huge lumber yard full of all kinds of stuff. You just got to go see it in Missoula. You can go online and take a look at all the different flooring in that. But John and Corey and the rest of the gang, Superior Hardwoods, they've been in business since 1977. You don't stay in business that long by not doing it right. Go online to superior-hardwoods.com And you can even read the reviews from everybody. You'll get a feel that these guys really know what they're doing. They strive so hard to make sure their customers are satisfied and get what they want. So back to the flooring. Go take a look at all the different things that they can do at Superior Hardwoods. Everything from flooring that will just blow you away, and that I guarantee they have flooring in there with woods you've probably never even seen before. Then you can even go into things that can accent that. You have got to see the alder molding they have there. Unbelievable. The list goes on and on. So go to Superior Hardwoods. That's superior-hardwoods.com. Take a look at what they've got going on there online. Then you have questions. Easy. Just give them a call, 406-251-2272. Or if you want, and I think you'll love going to the showroom, it's at 5120 Highway 93 South there in Missoula. I have just talked to so many people that go, you were talking on your podcast about these guys. Well, then we went, and you weren't exaggerating, Downrigger. I mean, this place is amazing, and they know so much about it. As we like to put it, they will guide you through the woods at Superior Hardwoods of Montana. You got to go see them. Superior Hardwoods of Montana. That's superior-hardwoods.com. Oh, you're going to like these folks. You're going to love the way your house is going to look when they get done with it. Go see them. We are back here on the Montana Outdoor Podcast, and this has just been a fascinating discussion. I'm with the Sarah Tilt. She's executive director of One Montana, and we've been talking about this Master Hunter program. To me, I just think this is fascinating. I think it is great for the sport of hunting. So I'm 100% on board. I love what you guys are doing. Talk a bit, Sarah, about what are some of the comments you've got from graduates, people that have gone through the course, and what are some of the comments you hear when they get through it?
Well, I'll read a recent quote that I just was sent this week, actually, by one of our Master Hunters, John Howe. And he wrote, "The Master Hunter program has changed my hunting practice and understanding in too many ways to count. Most importantly, though, it has introduced me to new friends, as well as changed my thinking with landowner stewardship and the management of wildlife resources." I mean, in a nutshell, he writes what we've been talking about.
Yeah. So he got a lot out of it. Talk about the instructors in these courses and that. Tell me a bit about who they are and some of the backgrounds, if you can.
Yeah. Well, our instructors, first I'm going to say, are all volunteer, other than Bill Spar is our program manager, and he runs the program. Bill is I think he's a 2020 graduate of the program, and he's been running the program now for a little over 2 years, and is just terrific. And he's brought a lot of new talent and new ideas to the program to help us grow. One of the things we really look at, we do surveys with our graduates every year, and we really take into consideration what they say and improve the class every year. So that's something Bill has been just tremendous at doing. So other instructors, I mentioned our shooting instructors, and they have, I don't have their bio in front of me, unfortunately,
no, okay.
but just incredible experience, and just great. Other instructors, there's Craig Jordanay, who is the wildlife biologist out at the MPG Ranch, and he comes to all 3 classes. Whitney Tilt teaches our history of conservation. We have a number of different biologists and game wardens who are involved in the various classes on wildlife disease and things of that sort. And we try to bring in, for each class, we'll try to bring in a local warden, for example, so he can talk about what's going on in that area rather than just general. So we have folks from Onyx who have done our land navigation in the past. So a whole variety, and all of these instructors are actually their bio and a photograph, and information is on our website.
So you'll be able to take a look at all this, folks, when you go to the website. There's also a video on the website too, and that I have not watched the video yet. I can't wait to to see it, but I think that's going to give some people a really good view of what's going on there as well. Give us the dates again, Sarah, as far as the registration or application process is underway right now, and it goes until when again?
The end of November.
End of November.
And then we'll review applications in December and let people know in early January whether they've been accepted. And
then the soonest that it gets underway would be in March in Bozeman, and that. Now, how are people able to? Do you just pick which city you want to go, or how does that work?
You put a first choice, a second choice, and a third, and a lot of people will put the same choice for all three because they don't have the ability to move around. But we try to accommodate first choices.
Mm-hmm. So this gives you plenty of time, but if you're going to get your application in, I wouldn't dilly-dally on that, folks. I would get on that right away. Can you give us a few other samples of some of the things you're going to ask on this application? I can just hear some of my listeners going, "I want to know right now." You know, you'll be able to see the application, folks, when you go on there, but maybe give us just a little bit of an idea of some of the other questions you ask us.
All right. There is a list of the questions on the website.
Okay, perfect.
And we give them ahead of time so that folks can download a PDF and prepare their questions before they get online. But as I said, we do ask them about experience with private land. We ask them about their have they been effective at shooting a big game animal in the last few years? And if so, what animals? We ask them for their relationships with other nonprofits because we're trying to track that because so many nonprofits have partnered with us. So just knowing where their memberships are. And we ask a couple of critical thinking scenarios that ask them to really think about it's a scenario that involves talking with a landowner and having made plans to pack out their animal if they're successful and what that looks like. So I don't want to give too much away.
No, I hear you. I hear you. What are some of the comments you're hearing from landowners about this? I would think landowners got to be pretty supportive of this because what you're building is a much more knowledgeable hunter as far as understanding what the landowner needs. But the other thing I really like is landowners are going to get a better understanding of where hunters are at too. So what are some of the comments you've heard from landowners?
Well, I think the big thing that I could say is that most landowners, when they come into the program, they stay and they actually grow their participation. So that says a lot about the hunters that they're meeting. But we get a lot of wonderful feedback from the service projects because just as helpful to hunters to learn about landowner concerns, it really leaves landowners understanding that these are thoughtful hunters who care about my property and they're going to do what I ask them to do. And so I think, that's really where we're trying to go with this is really having that understanding and mutual consideration.
Mm-hmm. How does a landowner get involved in the Master Hunter program and what you guys are doing?
Well, really simply, if a landowner is interested in, there is a very brief contact sheet on our website that they can complete, and then we will be in touch. What's really important for landowners to know is that we work very closely with them, and it's about their needs and and what they want to happen on their property. It is not us sort of saying this is what we do in the program. It's very much focused on their wildlife management goals, their weed management goals, their operational goals, and we create a profile and rules for our hunters to meet those goals.
Well, I got to say, I've learned a lot here from you, Sarah, about this. And one thing I really see happening is if you get accepted to this program as a hunter, you're going to come out of it a better hunter. Am I accurate in saying that?
Absolutely. And I think what I've seen happen, and I think is one of the benefits is different. Everyone comes into the program with a different knowledge base. Some people may have a higher level of understanding of conservation and less on some other skills, and other people may come in with incredible shooting skills. But what happens is everyone leaves at a higher level of knowledge and understanding together.
And I imagine you end up with some lifelong friends that you didn't even know them when you started out, and that's great too. I mean, who doesn't love having a knowledgeable hunting pal? That's got to be a huge bonus right there.
Well, and think traditionally about hunting, and it is about camaraderie, and it is about being outside, and it's about the scouting, the seeking, what goes on at hunting camp, all of that, and this community is very much akin to that.
Now, Sarah, you are at One Montana is a nonprofit organization, correct?
Yes.
Okay. After folks have heard all this, I would think maybe some of them might want to help you out. Do you take donations? I imagine you do.
We do take donations, and in fact, it's a big part of our livelihood, and can be done direct to One Montana or to the Montana Master Hunter Program, directly wherever you feel. The Master Hunter Program, we talked about the price of the program at $675, which is a real value for people to come into that program, where it would cost them far more to take a single shooting day lesson. And so we really rely on donations for this program to continue. The fee only covers the direct costs for each student, and One Montana is raising money for the rest of the program. So your donations really do count and make a difference.
And folks, we'll have a link to make donations too. So if that's something that you say, I like listening to these podcasts and I enjoy doing that, but I'm probably not going to apply, but heck, I'd like to help out. I think that's a fantastic way of doing it. And especially if you have maybe one of your family members that you'd like to pay tribute to, I think that'd be a good way to pay tribute to a landowner or to someone that's passed on in your family, that you say, hey, let's remember them by giving something there. I think that'd be a very fitting thing that a hunter or a landowner would love to be remembered that way. So good idea there. Is there anything else that you want to say before we leave here? Is there anything else you want to share with us, or things that I may not have asked you about that you want to make sure folks know about?
I would encourage people to apply. It's a great program, and you'll get a lot out of it. And I'd also, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me or to Bill, and we'll get back to you.
That would be great. And I hope, Sarah, that you'll be willing to come back again, because I'd like to talk about some of the other programs that One Montana is involved in. And that way folks can learn more about it and learn how they might want to, be part of what you guys do out there, because you're doing some good work.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Sarah, thanks so much for spending so much time with me. And folks, those of you that are listening, go back to that podcast description and you're going to find all kinds of links. These are going to be links to the Master Hunter program itself, links to One Montana. We're going to have a link to for you to be able to get in touch with Sarah, so that if you've got questions or maybe you want to contribute into the program somehow, that you'll have a link to be able to do that. And then stay tuned to the Montana Outdoor Podcast, because I'll let you know when we're going to have Sarah and some of her other folks with One Montana back with us, and we'll learn more about this great organization. Thanks again, Sarah, for spending so much time.
Oh, thank you so much, Downrigger Dale. Really appreciate it.
You bet. There you have it, folks. So, just another tool in your toolbox, or on your tool belt there, to be a better hunter out there. So, take a look at this. I hope you get involved. I hope you apply. Until then, have fun, enjoy Montana's great outdoors, and be safe out there, okay? Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Montana Outdoor Podcast. It has been brought to you in part by Superior Hardwoods of Montana, home of the largest selection of in-stock high-end wood products and flooring in the western United States. Let them guide you through the woods at superior-hardwoods.com. And by Rocky Mountain Truck and Trailer in Missoula, home of Boss Snowplows, CM Truck Beds, and Diamond Sea Trailers. Just go to rmtte.com for more information. So what did you think of today's podcast? Send your questions and comments to Downrigger at montanooutdoor.com. We should be dropping a new podcast this next Saturday. Until then, we will see you soon out in Montana's great outdoors.